Good evening, Titan Nation. How's everybody doing? Welcome into another edition of Titans in Truth. I am your host, Chris, aka Blue Enforcer, and we have a very special episode this evening for you as we get ready for Week 4 against the Buffalo Bills. But of course, we gotta definitely talk about some very fun and historic moments that happened this past Sunday. I'm your man, Chris, aka Blue Enforcer. We got a great show going for you today. And also, of course, I got to get up to my sponsor and my cousin, Miss LaCrystal Cleveland. Of course, as y'all know, has developed the Titans and Truth t-shirt. Y'all need to make sure y'all go out and grab them. Definitely hit her up on Craft Gasmic Creations on Facebook or under her at LaCrystal Cleveland. Also on Instagram at craftgasmic_creations. You could definitely talk to her. She could definitely hook you up with either a t-shirt. You know, it's about to get into the fall. You can get a sweatshirt or a hoodie as well. You can get them in the colors. You can get them in the light blue, like I just showed you. Of course, y'all seen me in the navy blue shirt. And, of course, the hoodies can be done in gray also, which I do have one of those as well. So definitely hit her up. She could probably get you a good deal and get that out to you. So you got to support the brand. Definitely hit that up. But got a very special guest coming on the line with us. And if you don't know him, you better get to know him. This guy does amazing work here in Nashville, especially around the Tennessee Titans and around the Nashville sports scene, period. From News Channel 2, one of my great mentors from WKRN here in Nashville, the one and only, the great Mr. Cory Curtis. Mr. Cory, how you doing?
Well, I think I need to hang around you more because you have way more nice things to say about me than the entire rest of the city combined.
Oh, I'm pretty sure everybody else has their own way of saying good things about you. They got to. I mean, with all the great coverage and footage that you do give, not only to the Titans, but also to the Nashville Predators as well. So, you know, definitely glad to have you on. And I don't have a bad word to say about you right now.
But it's early. We'll get this thing going.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a lot of fun and everything, and that's great to have you. Thank you again for definitely doing this. But let's quickly just put a bow on this amazing day in sports that we had on Sunday. Titans coming back, you know, from 17-3 down to beat the defending champion Philadelphia Eagles. I gotta know from you, what were your thoughts when you saw that last play, that Corey Davis game-winning touchdown that Mariota threw at the end?
Well, I mean, I was stunned, number one, that Corey was single covered because he'd been punishing them all day. And, you know, once they completed the 4th and 15, I was pretty set they were going to win the football game somehow, some way. You know, I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm just simply stating what I expected in this game. Going into the game, I was going to pick the Eagles, and then I flipped on Thursday, and because I just could not escape that Marcus was going to do something special. I thought number 8 was going to do something special, and he lived up to the expectation. It was a big moment for this team. They needed him, and he absolutely delivered. So it didn't surprise me, but it was still, I mean, absolutely amazing. I mean, 3 4th downs, Super Bowl champs, down 17-3. You know, you've got a number of Titans fans, you know, openly wondering about Marcus, openly wondering about Corey Davis, and those guys just absolutely dominated. It was a special moment in the history of that stadium.
I absolutely agree with that. I mean, it was an incredible moment, and I mean, it was so incredible that I was able to film that last play, and you know, it's out on, of course, y'all can check it out on my Facebook page under Chris A. Newell, and also it is on the Titans of Truth YouTube channel as well. I'd have got almost 1,000 views from that alone, and I mean, it was incredible how the stadium erupted, and it was nice to send the Eagle fans home a little down after that, but you know, it really felt a sense that in a very small way, we are finally starting to take Nissan Stadium back.
Well, let me tell you, the team's record at Nissan Stadium has been very good since Mike Mularkey took over the team.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna come down on the fans a little bit here. All right, back-to-back winning seasons. You won a playoff game. You think this year's team is pretty good. And Nashville's not selling the tickets. I mean, look, I think tickets are too expensive. I'll go all day on that. But I think the fans have to take some ownership on how many of the opposing fans are there and how many of the seats remain vacant. You've got a good team. You've got a great quarterback. You've got special players. You've got something worth watching. I don't know what's holding back people from embracing this team. You've got an ownership group that is doing the things it takes to be a good team and a good organization. And I know they didn't for a while. And if they lost you, they deserve to lose you. But we're a few years into doing things the right way. The team is winning at home. You might want to jump on and help them out the rest of the way.
I could not agree with you more. I cannot agree more with that because, you know, if a lot of you out there heard me last week go off, that's just how I feel about it, because you got a team and, you know, we got this team building, going in the right direction. I mean, if this victory has not convinced you to come on board and to get with this team, I don't know what else will. And, you know, a lot of the Titan faithful were there. Don't get me wrong. They were definitely there, but it could be a lot better than that. And Cory, I have also called out some of the fans, and I have to include myself too. Because, hey, I am among the masses too. But, I mean, everybody out there, you know, listening to this, Cory's telling the truth on that. We got to step up as a Titan Nation. We got to step up and be better. I mean, and Cory can attest to this. Bridgestone Arena Thursday night, well, they're on the road, but their first home game, I guarantee you, Bridgestone Arena is going to be rocking from ear to ear. You'll probably be able to hear them all the way down West End Boulevard here in Nashville. I guarantee it. They're going to be stoked. They're going to be ready. They're going to be loud because they have 41. They have all their home games sold out. And, you know, guys, Cory hit on a great point. The Titans have won 11 of their last 13 home games. So they're doing their job at home. We got to do our job and help them out. You know, we got to be loud and proud. And Cory, you can attest to this. There was too many Eagle chants going on in that stadium. I was getting sick of hearing that. And
well, you know, I thought the Titan fans that were there were great. I mean, I thought there were probably about 40,000 Titan fans, 20,000 Eagle fans. And I thought the Titan fans that were there were very loud, and they were very good. And listen, I understand somebody who sells their tickets to pay for the rest of their season tickets. I do. I get it. They're expensive. I do. But I see this every week, okay? I see it every week. And so, you know, that's just, you know, it's your team. And look, I grew up in Chicago. And I grew up with a ton of terrible Bear teams. And even when your team is bad, I always tell people this. It's about the journey. You know, now you can turn around much faster than you used to be able to. But to see the pieces kind of come into place and see your team building, you know, it can be enjoyable. And I would think these last couple of years, as you've seen things, you know, slowly put together piece by piece, you know, it would be something enjoyable to see. I mean, going into this season, this was the first time, and I can't remember how long, where I said the Titans have no questions in their starting 22. None. And well, now they do, because Rashard Matthews is not on the team. But I mean, there was so much to be excited about. I don't know. You know, and when there's a few of the other fans in the building, I think that adds some flavor to it. I think fans travel better in the NFL than they used to.
I agree.
So there's something to that, especially the traditional market teams. But you know, when you get 20,000, that just means there's way too many of your tickets available.
I agree with that, definitely. And now, speaking of the atmosphere and everything, where in your mind, in maybe your top 5, does this game rank in moments that you've seen at Nissan Stadium over your time covering the Titans?
Well, I've been here since 2003, so I wasn't here for the Mulligan game, and I wasn't here for the Music City Miracle. So keep that in mind. That's the best game I've covered. since 2003. Now, I know there was the Giants win with Vince and the Cardinal win, and those were dramatic, but they weren't against the Super Bowl champs. All right, you didn't have 3 fourth downs. You weren't trying to get to 3 and 1. You know, I mean, there was so much to that game. I always say sports is the original reality show. You know, all these reality shows can't come close to grabbing the drama and the excitement of professional and college sports. And Sunday was a perfect example. The drama was incredible. I mean, you felt like you were inside a TV show when that was going down. And when you see something special, you know it. And when you see something you know you are never going to forget, you know it. And that is something I will never forget. I mean, for the Titans and for Marcus Mariota and for Corey Davis, I mean, it was really, really spectacular.
I definitely can agree with that because, I mean, now with like the Music City Miracle and the Mulligan, you know, the Giants comeback and all that, I got to watch those on television. I would probably have to say, you know, along with this one, the only other game that I would have to say, because I actually saw it live, would have to translate to last year with the Seattle Seahawks. That was a great back and forth game. You know, it was entertaining. It was scoring.
Well, they jumped way out in front in that one.
Yes.
I mean, in the third quarter, it's just like with the Packers. I mean, the Packers was an incredible game just because you didn't see it coming, and they absolutely blistered them. You know, walk-off wins in overtime against the Super Bowl champs. I mean, it's just that doesn't hold a candle to that, man. That's incredible.
It is, and that was probably one that will probably have to go down as the best thing ever at Nissan Stadium. You know. Period. I mean, yes, the Music City Miracle will always remain up at the top, but yeah, this one is just a whole lot sweeter.
The Music City Miracle is the greatest moment for this team. I mean, look, if they don't have it, it's a first round flame out. Instead, they go to the Super Bowl, and I wasn't here for it, so I can't put this ahead of that because that got you to the Super Bowl. But since 2003, this is number one.
I like that. I definitely like that a lot. And going, you know, from this. With Marcus Mariota, does this put him on the road to finally being not just a true franchise quarterback, but do you think he's on the road to possibly stepping up to being one of those elite quarterbacks? Maybe not top tier, you know, like with Aaron Rodgers or Drew Brees, but maybe getting right there where he's close to sitting at the quote-unquote big boy table.
Well, look. I know that no matter what Marcus does, for whatever reason, he just doesn't satisfy some fans. You know, he has not had the best group of wide receivers to throw to, and he's got a group that's still developing. I mean, the Corey Davis, you know, he hit him for the one long one. The first one they missed, and you know why they missed? It wasn't because it was a bad throw. It's because Corey looked back behind him too soon and slowed down. Mm-hmm. I mean, we used to see Kendall Wright do that. He had to be taught to run to the spot and then look. And that was the same mistake Corey made on that. Marcus made beautiful long throws. Look, I'm just going to put it to you this way. Since 2017, he has 7 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter. No other quarterback in the NFL has that many. He has 11 game-winning drives since he entered the league. He's been in the league for 3 years and 4 games. He's won 11 games in the fourth quarter. He's been the AFC Offensive Player of the Week now for the 4th time in 3 years and 4 games. Do you know how many times Steve McNair won that award? 4 times his entire career. What does this guy have to do to earn the trust and the faith of the fans here? Because you know what? All he does is win. All he does is make plays. Is he perfect all the time? No. But go ahead and look at Peyton Manning's stats and tell me how many interceptions he threw his first 5 years. Because it was a ton more than Marcus has thrown.
Agreed.
All right? So he is still young. He is still going to get better. But he can – people ask me, what's the difference between him and Blake Bortles? The difference between Marcus Mariota and Blake Bortles is Mariota can put the team on his back in the most crucial situation and win the game. That's the difference. And that's what separates the truly great quarterbacks from all the other ones. Look, Matt Stafford has incredible numbers. But who would you rather have the ball in the fourth quarter? Number 8 or Stafford?
I got to go with 8.
There you go. Alex Smith. Would you rather have him the ball in the fourth quarter or number 8?
Oh, got to go with Marcus because, I mean, we saw that personally with Kansas City. We saw that twice.
What are we talking about here?
You know?
What are we talking about?
And
he's a franchise quarterback in the NFL who doesn't just wins. He wins big games, and he makes huge plays. The kid is a freaking Hawaiian, and he goes into a 0-degree Arrowhead Stadium and rallies his team in the fourth quarter with no timeouts.
Aloha spirit. Aloha spirit.
I mean, like I said, I don't know what fans want. I just don't. I mean, I guess they want him to go to an SEC school, but it's too late for that. He went to Oregon. I'm sorry.
Hey,
I'm sorry. He can't go to Alabama now.
You're absolutely right with that. Everybody, listening out there, hey, put your comments out there. You agree with us or disagree? Because I have been on the Marcus Mariota bandwagon for the longest time. As you can see, I got the shirt on to prove it. I mean, I've heard a lot of people give up on Marcus thinking that, he has the injury prone, the injury prone label. And yes, injuries happen. That happens to everybody. But like you said,
you want to talk about injuries? Quick quiz. How many games did Marcus miss in 2016?
Let's see. His first year, he missed 4 games. His second year, he only missed the last game because he got hurt against Jacksonville.
All right. So in 2017, how many games did he miss?
Let's see. He missed the second half against Houston and only missed the Miami game, which if he had played and won, we probably would have won that game.
And then he missed 1 game so far this year.
That's right.
So he's missed 3 games in 3 years. What are we talking about? Come on.
Hey, there it is. And I agree with that because, everybody talks about, yes, he, before the Jacksonville game, he missed, out of 50 games, he's, only completed 39 games and things like that. But, I agree with you on that. Yes, his first year, he only missed 4 games. He missed 4 games because Ken Wisdom.
7 games in his career.
Yeah.
7.
He missed 7 games. A game and a half, we got to count that. So, out of all of that, I mean, Marcus, in my honest opinion, has proven he is the guy going forward. And, of course, he's not going to throw the 300-yard games all the time. But like you said, the guy just knows how to win. And I was saying that to some fans in the section I was sitting in. I said, when the game is on the line and Marcus is marching down the field, I know we're going to win it, especially when they completed that 4th and 2, when they went that 4th and 2 instead of kicking the field goal. As soon as that was completed, I went back to the fans there. I said, we're finna win this game. We're about to win this game. Marcus ain't finna fail. He's going to let it happen. And that's exactly what happened. And, he's only going to, and I'm hearing some comments here from Gino P. said, great quarterback, lucky to have him. He's only going to get better. Marcus is a beast, and I absolutely agree with that. He is. And, a lot of people want results now and things about that, but you all got to remember. You all have to remember, and I'm mainly talking to Marcus haters because I know there are plenty of them, but they've been quiet. One thing about Marcus, you got to think of what he's been through. He started off in the system with Ken Wisenhunt. That, wasn't working. And then they go to Mike Mularkey, pretty much in his second year. So that's 2 different offenses in 2 years. And then, of course, he had a setback last year. He's already on, if I'm not mistaken, his 3rd head coach, and I want to say his 4th offensive coordinator. So with continuity and with stability, Marcus is going to get stronger. And I mean, right now, he hasn't even gotten to his prime yet. He's not even close to his prime.
Let me give you some numbers here for Drew Brees. Year 2, 17 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. Year 3, 11 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Year 4, 27-7. Year 5, 24-15, and then they give up on him. And then he goes to the Saints, and the rest is history. But in years 4 and 5, Drew Brees took steps forward. That's just one guy who's about to become the NFL's all-time leading passer, okay?
Yep.
Who his first 3 years were pretty questionable.
Exactly.
But took a little bit of time. But again, Marcus has been a starter for 3 years. 2 of them have been winning seasons.
That's true.
I mean, and he's a huge part of that. He's a huge part of the culture. And I'm fortunate I get to talk to the guys. Mm-hmm. They are 199% bought into that guy. They completely believe him.
They love
both sides of the ball.
They love him. They love him.
And they know if they give him a chance to win the game, he's probably going to do it.
Exactly.
And when you say, what do you need in a quarterback? There you go. The team has to believe in him. I use the word leader of men a lot. He's a leader of men. And everybody says, well, he's got to be more vocal. No, he doesn't.
No.
He's vocal when he needs to be, when he wants to be, but he has earned people every step of the way in his career just by being him. And that's how Steve McNair didn't say much, but his whole team would run through a wall for him because they knew that he would throw himself into traffic to win a game for him. And number 8 is a real lot like number 9.
Oh, I absolutely agree, because the fact of the matter is, and everybody check this out, you can lead by example. You don't have to say much. You ain't got to be a rah, 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 let's go get it. You don't have to be like Drew Brees, even though Drew Brees is great. You ain't got to go the whole win, win, win. I mean, Marcus just goes out there. He lets his actions speak rather than words, and does it well. I mean, extremely well. And, I had Gino P on here, says, he's a gym rat, always working. That is one thing I really enjoy about him, that I set him apart from, the Jake Lockers and the Vince Youngs. This guy works his tail off. He's always finding ways to get better. This guy, he watches film, he understands what he has to do, and he's always working his tail off to get better. And another guy, Labrian Clark comes in and says, Marcus needs better receivers, which actually goes into my next point. Looks like Davis and Mariota's chemistry is getting better. And that's what I want to ask you.
Yep.
Corey Davis, breakout game. Welcome to the party.
Well, I feel like what we've seen from him has been headed in this direction. He has been attacking the football, and he runs violently. And I was just waiting. And, look, when you've got backup tackles in there and you're running nothing but bubble screens and tunnel screens because you don't trust the line to block long enough, or you've got Blaine Gabbert in there, Corey's not going to have blow-up games. This was the first game this season that he's had Mariota for 4 quarters. It's not a mystery to me that he blew up and had a great game. The kid is a super talented player, and he's just coming into his own. I think, he's on pace now for 88 catches and about 1,250 yards, and that's what I expect him to be. I think games like this are going to be more the norm than they are, just popping up once in a while. He's not going to do it every week, but he's going to be that guy. But I think when you look at the last few weeks with Corey, I think one of the great things that we've seen, remember all the miscommunications between him and Marcus and in the preseason that we saw that had everybody so concerned? Agreed. Have we seen any of those the last couple of weeks?
Absolutely not. And, the fact of the matter is, and I brought this up on one of the last shows, and I believe I brought this up last week when Rashard Matthews was no longer part of the team. You got to think about this, everybody. Between Rashard Matthews and Delaney Walker being out, and yes, Delaney Walker was a huge blow, but between those two, you have nearly, and I want to make sure I got this number right, you have nearly close to 140 receptions that are available now. Yeah. Corey Davis's numbers are about to skyrocket. Taywan Taylor's numbers are going to go up. And so now Corey, he knows he ain't got to worry about, Delaney Walker or Rashard Matthews. He is the clear-cut number 1, and he proved on Sunday this guy has some dog in him.
Yeah. I mean, he is strong, and he can go get the football, and he's going to get, I would say, 10 to 14 targets a game. I mean, the ball is going to come his way. It has to come his way. He has to deliver. And, teams are going to start to double him, and he's going to have to make that next adjustment to that. But you're right. When they start to double him, Taywan Taylor has to be the guy to make them pay. That means when Marcus throws you the beautiful deep ball, you catch it.
Gotta come
that means
down
when Marcus throws you the beautiful back shoulder fade, you catch it. So he had 7 catches, but he had 2 big drops. And I don't mean to be Nelly negative. Can't have them. It's the National Football League. Those are the plays that get you beat.
Oh, I agree. I absolutely agree with that. Now, we're going to come back to the positive a little bit on that one, because Taywan Taylor did convert a huge 4th down. He did. Now, true enough, the drops, that was a big issue. He dropped a couple of those, and
touchdown in Miami.
Yeah, that too. And
got him beat.
The negative part of the offense, and we're going to go to the defense in a second. What are we going to do about Jonnu Smith? What is wrong with Jonnu Smith? I mean, honestly enough, I think Jonnu Smith sucks right now. And, I mean, he dropped a crucial 3rd down drop in the first quarter, which could have extended the drive. Instead of us taking a field goal, we might have a better shot at a touchdown, but instead drops it. And I don't believe he got targeted again he got targeted one more time and consequentially dropped that one too. What is up with Jonnu Smith, and what can be done for this guy to be better? He's supposed to be the heir apparent to Delanie Walker, has a huge opportunity to take over for Delanie Walker, and nothing's going right.
Well, you're either ready for the spotlight or you're not, okay? It doesn't look like he's ready right now. That doesn't mean he can't get there, but he's got a long way to go. I mean, there was a play later in the game after those drops where he was the only guy on the right side of the field, and Marcus wouldn't even look at him. And I couldn't blame him at that point.
Can't.
You got to throw the ball to people you trust, and he hasn't shown to be someone you can trust. That drop he had on the sideline in the first half, Marcus Mariota turned in one of the great scrambles in Titans history to get loose and fire a strike off of his chest. And, you've got to make those plays. That wasn't even a tough play.
No, it wasn't.
You got to make the tough plays in the NFL. Look, I don't know what they can do to get him going. I do know this, that with Delanie out, maybe this will be a better offense with 3 wides and 1 tight in it. And maybe that 1 tight should be Luke Stocker. We're going to find that out one way or another here as we move along. But, clearly, you earn playing time, you earn touches, and he's not earning them right now. He's a nice kid. He is a hard worker, and he's got talent. But the history of the NFL is littered with guys like that who didn't make it.
I agree. And I'm getting some comments now. Lil Kilo saying Butterfingers. And also, Labria Clark says Jonnu has brick hands.
Well, I mean, look, the problem wasn't his hands. I mean, he's letting the ball come into his body. He has to trust his fundamentals, which is get your hands up and catch the football. When you take it off the pads, it's going to bounce right off there. I mean, that's just repetition. The Navy SEALs have a saying that they live by. They don't ever think that you rise to the occasion in battle. They think you fall to the level of your training. Okay. And that's what it is in the NFL as well. When the pressure's on, you don't rise to this meteoric level. You play down to what you're prepared to do. Okay. And right now, he's not prepared to make even the simple play in the simple situation.
And speaking of that particular situation on the big stage, Darius Jennings drops that big pass in overtime that probably could have ended the game right there. And I know that sucks for him and everything, but, can he come back from that?
He's going to have to. I mean, he's going to have the opportunity to. That's his first one. But, that's a big one. And those kind of plays can haunt guys. And that guy's worked too hard to get this opportunity to let one play spoil it for him. I'm interested to see how he bounces back because, they need him. I mean, with Richard gone, they need him, and they need Nick Williams, and they need Tajay Sharp. They need all those guys. they play a lot of 3 and 4 receiver sets. So they don't have time or the bodies for anybody to feel sorry for themselves or to question what they're doing.
Absolutely. And obviously, looks like Gino P is giving you some love, saying both of you guys rock. Thanks for all your hard work. And so, Gino, thank you for that, man. But now let's switch it over to the defensive side of the ball, and we're going to go good first. His Honor, Harold Landry, laying down the law. I mean, can we dare say this guy could hit elite status as a pass rusher in a couple of years?
I don't know how he got to the second round. I don't.
Absolutely.
I
don't know either.
I said going into the season, I said, Rashaan Evans could be a good player for this team.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's one guy on this team who can change the defense, it's Harold Landry, because they've been lacking that game wrecker. Morgan and Arakpo are both good still at this point in their career, but neither one of them is what you would call a game wrecker at this point in their career. When you saw that sack and he made that quick bend off the right edge,
mm-hmm.
I mean, it was spectacular. That right tackle barely put a hand on him. And when you get in there, and it's just like Khalil Mack in Chicago, when you get in there and you hit the quarterback and you strip it free, I mean, it is such a game-changing play. That was a massive play in that football game. And so that's a great play.
Yeah, and I mean,
but there were 2 other plays that he's made in the last 2 weeks
mm-hmm.
where the quarterback escaped the pocket, Carson Wentz, and then last week in Jacksonville, I think they got the ball to a running back.
Yeah.
And each time he took off from behind, closed on those guys, and dropped them for a minimal gain. And that closing speed for a man of that size at that position is spectacular. I think we're just seeing the beginning with this guy, and I think John Robinson trading up for him was the right thing to do. I think he got lucky not taking him in the first round and still getting a chance at him at number 2. But he is going to be, I think, the star of this miniature draft class.
Now, I will say this. I'm going to flash back to what I thought of the draft, because in my mock draft, I wanted the Titans to take Rashaan Evans very badly. But I did say if we took Harold Landry, I would not be upset about that. And then the fact that
they got them both.
That we got them both. I mean, everybody can attest to this. I was like a kid in a candy store. My eyes lit up. I'm telling you. I was lit up.
I had 3 guys. I had 3 guys written down for them in round 1. I had Landry, I had Evans, and I had Leighton Vander Esch.
Yep,
and I said I'd be happy with any of those guys.
Exactly.
And I was just like you when they got him in round 2. I went, they don't need another pick for this already to be a fantastic draft.
Oh,
this
absolutely.
is unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
I absolutely agree with that. And another play with in Jacksonville, he didn't get to the quarterback, but he led Jarrell Casey right to him. And Casey is playing out of his mind right now. And I will say this. Jarrell Casey, everybody, he deserves to be talked about as one of the best defensive tackles in the league. You're talking about Aaron Donald, J.J. Watt, and Fletcher Cox, some of those guys. Jarrell Casey, I don't care what anybody says, he belongs up there with those guys because he is a game wrecker.
Well, he's been fantastic to start this season. He's got 3 sacks. He's in the backfield all the time. And he's gotten paid twice now, and it doesn't even faze him.
No,
he just continues to work harder and get better. I saw something on Twitter today where NFL.com had him ranked at number 10 in the MVP conversation. That's a shocking inclusion. I mean, to include a defensive tackle in there. And I don't know. I mean, look, I don't have a top 10 for the MVP right now, but that just goes to show someone noticing how good he's been. He has been unbelievably good for this football team against some pretty good offensive linemen. He had to take on the big guy from Jacksonville last week.
Norwell.
Norwell that they picked up from Carolina, and he still, haunted Blake Bortles like he always does. Number 99 is really, really good. And I'll tell you what, when he's gone, Nashville's really going to miss him.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I definitely agree with that. And, you know, I want to get this in. Compared to last year, I would say on a scale of 1 to 10 in improving of the pass rush, where would you rank this pass rush compared to last year as far as how far they've come?
Well, last year, if you remember, they struggled to get pressure unless they brought 5, right?
That's right.
So they were trying doing it with 4. They couldn't do it. They had to bring 5. Well, I don't know what the numbers are for Morgan and Arakpo. They're not good. But what Dean Pease has done is he's been so creative in disguising what he's done with his blitzes. You see Malcolm Butler, Logan Ryan,
Ricardo,
just flying in there. Calumet Correa, just flying in there untouched.
Haven't even talked about him yet.
Yeah, I mean, they have completely confused offensive lines. And so while the big guys, I mean, Casey's got 3, he's been great, but their other big guys may not have a ton of sacks. Everybody's tied up with those guys, and they're sneaking other guys through for just clean shots. I mean, that blitz they had with Malcolm Butler, Carson Wentz turned around and didn't know what in the world was going on.
Absolutely beautiful.
Got blasted. So, you know, right now they're scheming sacks. You know, like we wanted to see with Matt LaFleur, we wanted to see him scheme people open. Mm-hmm. Right now, Dean Pease is scheming sacks. Yep. And so when they start beating some people for more sacks to go along with the scheme sacks, look out. I know we haven't talked about the Bills yet. Look, Josh Allen's been sacked 18 times already. You don't get sacked 18 times in 4 games because the offensive line is that bad. The offensive line may not be great. That kid's hanging on to the football too long. And if he hangs on to the football too long in this game, the Titans are going to get at least 7 sacks on Sunday.
Wow. That's hot right there. That's very hot. And I was going to quickly mention, hey, Sharif Finch got his first sack, and he came in a twist around in the middle, wide open lane. Like nobody was close.
Another stunt, opening things up, and he comes in, you know, untouched to get his man.
And then let's quickly talk about, wow, Jayon Brown. Is he becoming a 3-down linebacker?
Well, I don't know if he's big enough to hold up for 16 games and be a 3-down linebacker. I hope he is. He was spectacular on Sunday. 10 tackles, a sack, 2 tackles for a loss, and another hit on the quarterback. The kid can run for days. He's able to take on guys who are bigger than him. His closing speed on the flats is outstanding. And he is doing all of the things, I think, and more than they drafted him to do. They thought he could be a good guy in coverage for them, you know, on tight ends and backs out of the backfield. But he's making more plays than that. You know, when Wesley Woodyard went down, he had to play more snaps.
Exactly. And I think
he delivered.
Yeah, he was playing. I think what Jayon Brown is doing is what I think Wisdom Malarkey hoped Zach Brown was supposed to be. And Jayon Brown is
a different story.
He's doing it, and he's doing it. Now, before we do get to the Bills, one last thing, and I hate to be bad on this, but we do have to talk about the $61 million man. We know, yes, he had a great sack on Carson Wentz, but my goodness, what is up with Malcolm Butler? I mean, he's given up now his 3rd big-time deep touchdown of this game, and it was against Jordan Matthews, which I'm looking at people saying, I think I could outrun Jordan Matthews possibly. I mean, I don't know what happened there. Did he maybe take a bad angle? Maybe did he expect help up top and it wasn't there? I mean, take us through that play.
Well, Mike Vrabel was asked about it today, and all he would say is he's got to coach better. But you know, whether he's got to coach better or not, you outlined it from the very first preseason game. We've seen Malcolm Butler get beat deep. And look, the word is out that Malcolm Butler does not have elite speed at the corner. They've given him a ton of money. They're into him for at least 2 years. And they've got to find a way for that not to cost them. Now, 260-pound Kelvin Benjamin, I dare say, is not going to beat him deep this week. But maybe Zay Jones could. You know, we've got TN Nation coming up on Saturday night, and guess what one of my keys is? Don't get beat deep. because you need this Buffalo team. Like, if you make Buffalo go 10 plays to score against you, I'm pretty confident they're going to make a mistake that's going to cost them. And so they've got to figure out a way, whether it's to play more zone or to rotate more safety help his way to keep him from getting beat, because it's happening regularly. I know a couple of times he's had pretty good coverage, but pretty good coverage isn't good enough sometimes, especially when you're getting $61 million. You got to make the play.
Exactly, and I definitely agree with that. And so we're going to get ready to go into talking about the Buffalo game in just a moment. But once again, everybody, giving a shout-out to my sponsor, Ms. Crystal Cleveland of Craft Gasbit Creations, just showing her a little bit of love. Y'all see the shirt. I know some of y'all love it, and I know some of y'all talked about it. Go talk to her and pick up a shirt. Go ahead and get one made. You got to, support the brand, support Titans of Truth, and definitely put that TNT on your chest. You will not regret it. That much I guarantee it. But now I want to ask you on this, and we've talked a lot of good and we talked a lot of bad. In your honest opinion, who would you think was the star of the game, the two-tone blue star of the week, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, look, it's two guys. It's Mariota or Davis. For me, it's Mariota because, he did it throwing. He also did it running. And he was, he was the guy. 4th and 15, he made the throw to Taywan Taylor. So it was absolutely him. And Corey Davis is right there. But that game belonged to number 8. There's no question in my mind.
I mean, I can't disagree with that. I mean, 390 total yards, 3 total touchdowns. And
he was the rushing attack.
He was the rushing attack. I definitely do agree with that. And I like that with Corey Davis. Had a couple of honorable mentions with Jarrell Casey and Harold Landry as well. And I'm going to give a shout out to Brett Kern too, because Brett Kern made a huge play, even though it was a bad punt. If it wasn't for him saving that touchdown, that could have made the difference in the game right there. So, I mean, definitely got to give Brett Kern a little bit of love, but I like your pick with Marcus Mariota and also Corey Davis. So I kind of got to tie it up there, y'all, with that one. But on the other side, of course, we had good. We also got bad. And who did you think would be the dunce of the day? Deserves to wear that dunce cap and stand in the corner. I kind of know who I'm going with, but I want to get your thought.
Well, I hate to call someone dunce. I really do. But, I mean, there's two people. Malcolm Butler getting beat deep it can't happen, and it just keeps happening. The other one is not a Titan. I thought Doug Peterson's play selection to end the first half was horrific.
Wow.
Horrific. They had second or third and goal from the 11 with like 11 seconds to go, and instead of electing to throw the ball into the end zone and try to get 7 points, he hands it off to Jay Ajayi and kicks a field goal. Hey, that makes no sense to me whatsoever. He just said, Titans, keep those 4 points. We'll just take these 3 and go inside.
Yep.
Arguably cost his team the game. I mean, now there's no guarantees they're going to complete that pass, but you know what? When you're at the 11, you don't need 3 or 4 more yards to line up for a field goal. You got that one. That one's safe. To not throw the football into the end zone there when you've got Alshon Jeffrey, a top 5 red zone target in the National Football League, is horrific. And Doug Peterson's a great play caller. So don't get me wrong. But in that situation, that play call gets an F-.
Wow. And that, I will have to say, that is excellent that you came to that with a non-Titan, which I'm down with that. I definitely don't mind that at all. I mean, we could definitely give some bad love to Eagles on that one. So I don't mind that at all. And I want to ask about this as well. I mean, if we say a non-Titan, Jalen Mills got abused by Corey Davis pretty much the whole day. And I would have to give that on him too. But who would you say is a player maybe around the league that caught your eye this week as far as just lit it up?
Well, and this isn't going to be like rocket science, but what Patrick Mahomes showed me rallying at Mile High was way more impressive than what he did in lighting up those other teams the first 3 weeks. I mean, that is a tough place to play. That is a good defense. He's completing balls left-handed. His composure for a young guy, incredible. I was pretty blown away by Patrick Mahomes in the fourth quarter on Sunday night.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Now, for me, I would have to go with – I got to go with Trubisky. I mean, 6 touchdowns. I mean – he was throwing it all over the place, 48-10. Chicago completely blasting Tampa Bay. And I mean, I would have to give a dunce to our old friend. Fitztragic came back crashing down to earth. He came back down to earth. Jameis now gets his job back pretty much. I mean,
well, what do you think it's coincidence that Jameis comes off suspension? Everybody knows it's eventually going to happen where he's going to take over, and the Bucs unravel. I don't think that's coincidence. I think when things go bad, they usually rot from the inside, and that's what happened in Tampa.
That was very, very interesting indeed. I mean, Jameis sitting back thinking, okay, I may not get my job back, but long and behold, Fitzmagic becomes Fitztragic once again. And now Jameis gets to go right back to where he was. And I forgot to mention to everybody, the guy that I picked as dunce of the day for the Titans, hate to keep harping on him, Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith's got to step up. He's got to step up at some point. I don't know if he ever will. Maybe they should start Luke Stocker instead. Luke Stocker has more catches than Jonnu Smith, honestly.
Luke Stocker can block.
And that too.
And honestly, I'm more concerned about that than I am nobody's going to be Delaney Walker.
No.
The Delaney Walkers don't grow on trees.
Absolutely not.
We've seen that proven now with Jonnu Smith. They just didn't pluck him from the Delaney tree. It just didn't happen. He can get better over time, but he's not ready. And until he's ready, I like Big 88 out there.
I agree definitely with that. And so let's get into this Bills game. We going up to Buffalo, the New Era Stadium, Orchard Park. We got the 1-3 Bills who just came off of being shut out by the Packers, 22-0. And I took a look at a little bit of film of this game. Trying to kind of break down this team a little bit. Got some stats, of course. Offensively, they're one of the worst offenses in the league. 31st overall, 24th in running the ball, last in passing the ball. And they only average about 13 points a game. Their defense is not a slouch. They're in the middle. They're about 15th. They're ranked 15th, 11th against the run, 16th against the pass. But they do give up an average of about 27 points a game. And so, and their turnover differential tied for 17, -1. Now, in looking at this game, we're looking at Buffalo. Josh Allen does look like he has deer in headlights. He looks like he is terrified, running for his life back there. What do you see out of Buffalo that you could see saying that this is something that the Titans can take advantage of?
Well, they're better. I think that's the number one thing. I mean, the Titans show up ready to play. They're going to win this football game. That's pretty plain and simple. So, I mean, I think, when you go personnel for personnel, they're just better. There's nothing on the outside of Buffalo's offense that scares you. LaShawn McCoy is clearly not the same LaShawn McCoy as they used to be. So there's going to be a ton of pressure on Josh Allen, who's holding the football too long. I don't know how they scored 27 points in Minnesota, other than the fact that the Vikings were clearly looking towards that Thursday nighter with the Rams.
Oh, absolutely.
The Packers are not a great team. They are 2-1-1. They'd be 1-2-1 without a miracle second half collapse by the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can get shut out by Green Bay, they're just not very good. There's just not a ton of players going to beat us. Now, having said that, like Coach said, this is the NFL. You show up, you get beat because the margin's not that much, but there's just not that much over there. There's more on the defensive side of the ball. Tre'Davious White, former LSU product, Jerry Hughes, the pass rusher, Starlo Delele they got from the Carolina Panthers. They've got some guys who are players over there, but there's no game wreckers over there. There's no guys over there that should just Khalil Mack you. So show up, punch him in the mouth, and get the job done.
I agree. And I was, earlier on back on 102.5 The Game, I was listening to your old buddy Jared Stillman on Jared of the GM, and he said something that actually hit with me that I could probably agree with. He's feeling like these are not the same old Titans from years past, saying that, the Munchak Titans or the Malarkey Titans might probably lose this game. Probably given how things would go, they might lose this game. Do you feel that, a lot of people say this could be a trap game, but do you feel that Mike Vrabel's the type of coach that is basically saying, hey, we're not going to let this happen?
Well, look, I understand why people say that. The reason that those teams in the past have lost a lot of those games is because they just haven't been that good. All right. This team's roster is better. They're in a better position to handle this. But it is absolutely a trap game. It was a trap game for the Vikings, and they got trapped in a huge, huge way. Now, Vrabel is a coach with a lot of charisma, a lot of machismo, a lot of moxie, and I feel like the Titans are starting to take on his personality. So we'll see. This is, every week is a challenge. And I love what the coach said about I love adversity. We welcome adversity. And, you've won 3 in a row. People are starting to talk about you, but that creates another type of adversity for you. How do you handle success? Mm-hmm. And that's the next challenge for this football team.
Absolutely. And because I had a couple of key matchups that I had down, and you mentioned Tre'Davious White, and that is a matchup that I'm looking forward to. Tre'Davious White going up against Corey Davis. And, Tre'Davious White, I liked him coming out of LSU myself, actually. I was definitely taking a look at him. Does it look like this could be a matchup where, Corey Davis maybe could take advantage of Tre'Davious White a little bit, maybe get to the middle of the field and catch a couple passes across the middle?
Well, look, they're going to try to use Corey Davis because he's their number one weapon. I don't know if the Bills try to match up with Tre'Davious White with him or not. I don't know if they're going to follow him all around because Corey Davis is going to move around the field. And the Titans are going to try to expose some certain things. But when you get 9 catches for 161 yards, teams take notice. And so you better believe the Bills are going to take notice. And if they think Tre'Davious White's their best, they're going to probably try to put their best on it. But, TN Nation, every week we do matchups. And you're hitting my matchups, head for head here. Corey Davis, Tre'Davious White. It's on the list. Because the next step for Corey Davis, prove you can do it 2 games in a row.
Absolutely. And this is another one I wanted to go up against, and this probably all ties together. I have, our offensive line going up against Buffalo's front 7. In particular, I'm looking at Jerry Hughes versus Taylor Lewan, and I'm also
you've got my show down nailed.
Wow. And I mean, another thing, and I was looking at also, I know a lot of people may not be talking about this kid yet for Buffalo. This Tremaine Edmonds, he could be pretty decent. Could this all be a game where the run game gets going?
Well, he's played every snap of the season for them defensively. And, I think he was their first-round pick, right? I mean,
that's right.
So, that's what you need. If you're picking a guy in the first round, he better be talented. And this kid looks like he's talented. And so the Titans are going to have to keep an eye on him. Because the other thing about young guys is what? They can run for days. Right. And right now, Tremaine can run for days. So, he's definitely a guy they're going to have to keep an eye on. And we'll see if their linemen can free him up.
Absolutely. And I'm not going to let you give away all your secrets on this matchup with Lewan and Jerry Hughes, but I thought that would be a very interesting matchup because, Hughes leads he leads them with 2 sacks on the year. And we know Lewan, Big Boss Hog is the leader of that offensive line. So, got to see if we keep Jerry Hughes off of Marcus a little bit, but I'm always confident Taylor Lewan, he ain't going to let nobody touch Marcus.
Well, he did last week. He got beat by Derek Barnett, who beat him. So, now knowing Taylor Lewan, he'll use that as fuel. He doesn't like that to happen.
No, he don't.
But because that doesn't usually happen. You go to multiple Pro Bowls for a reason. But yeah, I mean, Jerry Hughes is a pro. But, when you've looked at Lewan in the past and you've seen him take on the Von Millers, the Khalil Macks, and the Jadeveon Clowneys, he's usually done pretty well. I mean, like Whitney Merciless has had more success with him, I think, than just about anybody. He's taken on some big-time players and stood his ground. I'd feel good about that, man. That's one of the real luxuries of Taylor Lewan is you can have him play one of those guys and not say, okay, what are we going to do to help Taylor every play? Right. You know, when Jack made the All-Pro team as a rookie, I've had multiple conversations with Mike Mularkey about this. Jack was really good, but they helped him on virtually every play.
I like that. I definitely like that. Now, and two other things I want to definitely get to. You know, we mentioned Kelvin Benjamin. You know, he's probably going to be somewhat at times matched up with Malcolm Butler, and probably may see some Adoree Jackson on him too. I put down as a key that we have got to be physical with Kelvin Benjamin from the start. Got to be physical with him.
Well, you know what? If you can jam him at the line of scrimmage and give those linemen just a second to rush the passer, they should have a pretty good opportunity to get there. I mean, look, he's a big physical dude. They're not going to run him on go routes. He'd be exhausted after two of them. He's 260 pounds now. So, you know, and that's, you know, one of the reasons you signed Malcolm Butler is to be a physical corner. So that should be a good matchup for Malcolm.
I agree. And, you know, one other thing I said that I noticed also and read an article about this, Josh Allen does struggle, especially with blitzes and things like that. And we know that the Titans statistically blitz about 31% of the time. And most of those problems that he has are blitzes up the middle or some cornerback blitzes, which is, in a way, almost in Dean Pease's wheelhouse. I think more of that. Do you think more of that could lead to either more sacks, like you said earlier, may even lead to some interceptions?
Well, I think this is what you've got to look for, especially. You know, we talked about how well Dean Pease disguises blitzes, and I think that absolutely will be a problem for the young quarterback. It's a problem for an offensive line as well. But they also work to disguise coverages, and that's where you really get a rookie quarterback. When you disguise those coverages and you get him throwing into things that he doesn't know he's throwing into. I'll be really surprised. Like, if the Titans show up, because that's the big caveat, do they show up? If they show up, I'll be stunned if they don't get out of there without 2 interceptions.
Wow. I definitely like that. I honestly could see a couple of interceptions myself, and I see at least about 5 or 6 sacks myself on that. And we're going to go ahead and get one last thing to get you out of here. What would be your prediction? Mine, you know, I would normally save this for my pregame on Sunday, but I'm going to go ahead and give it out to the people now because a lot of people say we should make someone quit at halftime. You know, another guy likes how Vrabel and Lewan interact with each other in the locker room. And Laboring Clark says, stop the run, force him to throw, give Byard some interceptions. Me, I'm saying a 24-10. I think if we do something like that, that's pretty good. That might be me putting it nicely. What do you think?
I'm in the same ballpark as you. I'm like 26-10, maybe 26-17 with a late touchdown for the Bills. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Titans are about a 3.5-point favorite. They've covered the spread the last 3 weeks, obviously, because they've been a dog. But I think they cover that 3.5-point spread on Sunday. I'll be really surprised if they don't.
All right. And does Derrick Henry get it going in the running game?
No, because it's not in him. Look, the guy doesn't lower his pads. He doesn't initiate contact. He doesn't attack the line of scrimmage. He tiptoes, he runs straight up, and he looks for a giant lane to run through. He's an excellent straight line runner because he's really fast, and if he can get going and get in the secondary, he can knock some people over there. But when it comes to the point of attack, he does not attack the point of attack. Deion Lewis is the only running back they've got right now that does that. David Fluellen got back to practice today. Mm-hmm. I'm interested to see if he gets some carries because right now, Derrick Henry is not doing those things to help this football team. Does that mean he's still not – he's still capable of a 60-yard run. You know, he's still capable of that 15-yard run when he's got a giant lane to run through on the left side. But that's not what this team needs. This team needs him to take the ball, lower those pads, attack the line of scrimmage, and push people forward. Yep. Don't just tiptoe in there and fall over like a 6'4" tree, because that's what he's doing. and when he gets the ball in the backfield, he never finishes forward. He got a pitch play, and he had 3 guys in his face, and yeah, he lost 5 yards because there was no blocking. I get that. He puts his pads down and goes forward. He loses 3 instead. Those 2 yards make a difference, and that's what they need from it.
And I agree with that because, I mean, yeah, it's great to have those 30, 40, 50-yard runs and stuff like that. And, like, again, I have to refer to my guy Jared because he says it best. How many yards you need for a first down? 10. You get 3 downs to do it. If you get at least 4 yards a carry, 4, 8, 12, first down. So,
yep.
Yeah, you want to get those 50, 60-yard runs, but if you get those 5, 6-yard cracks every time, you're wearing the defense down. And I've also noticed with the Buffalo Bills in this game, if the offense keeps putting the defense in bad situations, they're going to wear down because the defense is going to be tired of being put in those bad situations by the offense. So basically make Josh Allen make some mistakes, and then we have a shot there. So we have a chance to do some good. Well,
and you'd like to see Derrick Henry wear down a defense, but he doesn't play that way. Mm-hmm. He doesn't play that physical style. I mean, I wanted to see the Eagles field Derrick Henry in the fourth quarter. I know there are people who have said he needs more carries. You earn more carries. He's not earning more carries right now. So it's a mentality. He's got to play stronger. He's got to attack more. And, he can definitely help this team if he does that, because you're right. You want to go to Buffalo, you want to punch him in the mouth early, and then you want to run out the clock.
Absolutely.
And there, that would be a good scenario for number 22.
I agree. And Lil Kilo says best here. He says, this is not Bama anymore. Absolutely 100% right. He hit the nail on the head. This is not Alabama no more. This is the NFL. They're much faster in the NFL. So, yeah, Derrick Henry's going to have to tough it up, and he cannot be the bigger version of Chris Johnson because CJ did the same thing. He would always
CJ
dance at the line.
A lot faster, too.
So wait, he's faster. He's faster, but danced at the line and didn't just hit the hole. But, Derrick Henry's going to have to hit the hole a lot harder if he's going to get carries because right now, this is Deion Lewis's backfield.
Well, I mean, Deion Lewis, they're clearly a better offense with 33 on the field. I don't think there's any question about that. I'm really and I could be dead wrong. I've been wrong before, but I'll be really interested to see if Llewellyn gets carries this week.
That would be interesting on that. But everybody, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this show, and everybody, Cory, let everybody know how they can get in touch with you on social media.
Well, on Facebook, I'm at WKRN Cory Curtis. I post a lot of stuff about the Titans on there. I do things like power rankings each week. I write a big, long synopsis of the game after every Sunday night. And it's also a good way to correspond with me. I'll write stuff, and if you write stuff and have questions, I will definitely respond to it. I'm also on Twitter at Cory Curtis 2. And so you're welcome to contact me both those places. I try to be as social as I can.
Absolutely, absolutely. Cory Curtis from WKRN Channel 2. Thank you so much for joining. And, I think the Vols will probably win this week.
Well, they can't lose. I know that.
Absolutely, absolutely. But Cory, as always, thank you always for coming on. Everybody out there, thank y'all for coming, for tuning in. I'm glad also to hear that the kid at TSU looks like he's going to be getting better. So that was some very good news that was heard as well. Very heartfelt prayers go out to his family. Thank y'all for tuning in to Titans and Truth. Y'all know where to find me. To find me, Chris A. Newell, or the TNT Enforcers page on Facebook, at Instagram at Titans_N_Truth, Twitter at TNT Blue Enforcer, and of course, always check out the website, titansandtruth.wixsite.com/Titans and Truth. I'ma holler at y'all. Thank you, Cory, and y'all will see y'all on Sunday.